just recently I have, it came to me this idea of the three stages of mysticism, which is a concept that I'm trying to develop. So this will be my first official attempt at declaring our sort of intentions here at the Lunar Academy. And in order to, bring some clarity, we have to come up with some terms and define them, just generally, just very generally. So there's three stages of mysticism, and those pretty much cover all the different levels of mysticism in three little baskets, which one can always go in and break them down even further. So we'll start off with stage one, right? So stage one mysticism is just being an ordinary person, right? Just recently, the other day, I saw a quote. I think it was by Camus that says something like, man is the only creature that is afraid of being who he is, something like that. Which the implication is that, every other creature, every other animal in the world is not afraid of being who they are, right? They express their animal instincts, very naturally, right? A zebra is not afraid of being a zebra. A lion is not afraid of being a lion, right? And they don't hide their true nature. But we as human beings, we do that, right? Everyone that we meet on the street is hiding their true human nature, or what one can say is their true divinity, right? So we are afraid of being who we are, right? So stage one mysticism is at least making an attempt to be our authentic self, which is a very common theme in spirituality and esotericism. It's being authentic to ourselves and being authentic to others, which is difficult because everyone else is afraid of the truth, right? Everyone else is afraid of who they truly are. So when they meet somebody that is authentic, is a bit intimidating, right? Which is why skillful means, as the Buddhists will say, is required, right? And kindness and gentleness and friendliness is always a great initial approach, right? So stage one mysticism is just being who we are, right? Is being natural, being open to new ideas, and not being afraid of the world, right? And not being afraid of mystery, because we as human beings, we are designed to explore the mysteries. We just got to do it gently and gradually, right? So that basically covers stage one mysticism, which unfortunately is rare, right? It's rare. Like when you see someone who is a stage one mystic, right? The general population will see them as, oh, that's a religious person, right? And since they have never had a formal relationship with authentic, spirituality, they're going to be scared, right? And one of the things that, in the Christian writings, it's always stated, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid, right? So stage one is being our authentic self. Kind of like what I'm trying to do with these YouTube videos. It's trying to be authentic, but at the same time, maybe adding a couple of layers of editing and production, because, people like that kind of stuff, right? One tradition that is out there is, the Hermetic tradition, where you have these Hermeticists, these Hermetic philosophers that just, they put out their ideas and very naturally, and, they're not worried about how they look. They're not worried about production value. They just being their authentic selves. So that's stage 1 mysticism. Now, stage 2 mysticism is analogous to, let's say, the UFC training center. It's a center, it's a gym for your mind, for your soul, for your spirit, that you go in and you train it. But you do it, at 50% or maybe 30%, right? You're not at the World Championships. You're not competing for a gold medal. That I would consider stage 3 mysticism. No, you are at the training center, which the aim is to get the mechanics right, to understand the theory. Kind of like, taking a child to, let's say, learn karate or jiu-jitsu, right? You want them to learn the basics of the mechanics, right? And if you take them to a really good teacher, they'll teach them the spirituality of, like, let's say, something like, I don't know, Taekwondo. I'm assuming, I don't know, I never took any martial arts. But the idea in stage 2 mysticism is that you are in a training facility, in a training center, where you are there to get the mechanics and the theory so that you can have the foundations, right? You're taking it seriously, but not too seriously, right? You're not, like I said, you're not competing for an Olympic gold medal, right? So when you do the sort of the partner training, you go 25%, right? You don't try to break your partner's, arm, right? You're not the world championship, right? So stage 2 mysticism. So for us, that will be, and the way that is generally done is like, simple meditations, study groups, maybe finding a book that is inspiring, and, forming a study group, right? So in the mystical UFC training center, you find a book that you can go in and study either as a group or, just you by yourself in the gym. So in our UFC training center, we use the very incredible book of Meditations on the Tarot, right? A Journey into Christian Hermeticism. So this book right here is our training manual. There are plenty of others out there on the market. In fact, there's hundreds in what we call Western esotericism. And if you go into the Eastern stuff like Buddhist philosophy, there's hundreds, if not thousands, that you can choose from. So it's just, so there really is no excuse, right? You just got to find something that is compatible to each individual. But in our school, we're using Meditations on the Tarot. So that will be the manual for our training center, right? So that's stage 2 mysticism, right? And those will be the limits of the Lunar Academy, right? We are stage 1 and stage 2 mystics, right? That's the purpose of this school, right? Now, stage 3 mysticism, that's where it gets really, really interesting, and that is where I set my limits, where each one of us will have to find what that stage 3 is for us, right? So stage 3 mysticism is kind of like what the Catholics are doing, what the Buddhists are doing, what the Mormons are doing, right? And what any other, authentic form of spirituality or religion are doing, right? They're really, they're going in, right? They have a long-term vision, right? And they are involved in a system that is designed to, hopefully or supposedly, to take them at least halfway, right? Which these systems do, right? In my opinion, these systems at least take you halfway to sort of the end of the race. But that's not what we're doing here. We're not, the Lunar Academy is not a stage 3 mystic organization or group, right? We're not a cult, right? We're not a religion, right? We're not trying to form a new church. We're not trying to form a new religion, right? We're just simply trying to establish the basics, the foundations, the mechanics, so that, each one of us who are interested in these ideas, either through this school or any other school, will eventually have to find a system that is analogous to what I term stage 3 mysticism. So I think that's very important, right? That's very important to lay out. So that's my working theory at the moment. 3 levels of mysticism: stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Stage 3 are basically the religions, the cults, which at the Lunar Academy we stay away from that, right? We are not a cult. We're not a religion. We are a mystical learning school that our aim is to get the basics, to get the mechanics, to practice, stage 2 mysticism, so that when each one of us goes out, into our own private spaces, we each one of us will find our version of the stage 3 mystical environment. So I hope that makes sense. But at least the general idea is there. So, these are the, as of, today, 2024, November of 2024, these are my terms that I have established that I will operate from within.